Hey everybody, welcome to Shotgun's Game Commentary. I've been recording this video about 17 billion times! So today, on Shotgun's Game Commentary, this is a little bit of a bonus clip for everybody. I was on the radio last week. I'm pretty sure it was last week. I don't actually remember when it actually aired. That's, that happens to me often. But anyway, I was on the radio talking about video games and if they have any effect on children in their violent tendencies and things like that. So there was that interview. There's some other questions in there as well, but the worst part was I had a cold. I had a cold, so you can really tell that I have a cold. I'm really trying to gain my breath and all that stuff because I couldn't breathe through my nose at that point. And as it gets farther into the interview, it gets worse and worse and worse because I can breathe less. So yeah, there's that. So check it out.
What do you do, and what's your business?
I'm a web developer / game developer for Papillon Studios. Basically, what I do is I consult with customers and make sure that I can provide them with the best customer service and the product that they are looking for.
What does it take to become a game designer?
To become a game designer, it's pretty much the same as pretty much any other kind of career. It's you really have to have the want to do it and the passion to create video games and design them and all that stuff. You got to be able to draw, of course, because you'll be drawing characters and scenes and all that kind of stuff. But you also have to know like the back end of how a game works, the structure of what the code would be, so you can design around that.
And why did you want to become a video game web designer?
The main thing for most game designers, game developers, is because they absolutely love video games, which is definitely me. When I was a kid, I burnt out 3 PS1s playing video games. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you are a gamer yourself. What types of games do you usually play? Do you play them all, or are you use a specific genre?
Well, I'm a big fan of first-person shooters like Call of Duty, as well as RPGs like 3D Dot Game Heroes, sports games sometimes, Guitar Hero, Assassin's Creed, and games like that. When
you're playing video games, do you ever feel like angry or aggressive or do weird things that you don't normally do in real life? This
is really a common thing across a lot of people who play Call of Duty, at least, is when you're playing online, yes, you do get pretty annoyed, you get a little bit angry because of you're in that competitive mode and you're constantly getting shot or killed by someone else, and it does cause you to be aggressive. But at the same time, as soon as you turn the console off or you turn the game off, you're pretty much back to normal, and it just seems to be a while you're playing it kind of nature.
Okay. Have you ever found yourself getting angry after the console is turned off?
The odd time, but that was only when, let's say, maybe I was having a bad day that day, and it was just adding to my already anxiety. Yeah, it's happened a few times to me. Has
there been specific games that you get more angry with the more you play it?
Really all depends. Like, let's say I'm playing Call of Duty and I could be winning the whole time, that's fine. Then I don't get angry at all. But if I keep on losing over and over and over again, you do slightly get more and more angry at the game as well as everyone else playing.
When making games, have you ever found that you're getting angry with maybe it's not going the way you wanted? What's it like making the game? Well, you do get, there are times when you do get very anxious and very frustrated when something's not working. But then all you have to do is just get away from it, go do something else, and then come back to it later, and then you can usually figure out your issue. Do you have or know of friends or family that when they play video games, they get really unnecessarily angry? Not really. Well, but because usually when you're with a friend, you usually act a little bit different. You don't get as angry. I could probably bet that I do have a friend or two that would actually be very, very, very angry while playing games and losing. Why do you think people get so into video games? I think it's because I don't know if it's a social stigma, but it's pretty much like people, they get into a game because if you're playing video games, it's something that you really, 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 really like doing,
And it's the same thing if you like rock climbing. You're going to get, when you're doing it, you're going to be really into it. So I think it's just the matter of fact that if you really, really like doing it, you're going to get into it.
This is one of my final questions. Do you think video games lead to people having weird or aggressive behaviors in real life?
I don't think so. There's been many talks about this on the interwebs about this topic, about kids being aggressive because of video games and things like that. But I don't think it has any effect on it. I think what has an effect on it is, let's say, our parents or our elders and our superiors acting in, aggressive ways that cause it. Because even before video games, there was still lots of, people acting very aggressive towards others. So I don't think it's a direct cause from video games.
This just came up to the top of my head. Do you think people worry too much that video games are going to lead their kids to being this aggressive monster?
Yes, people really do worry too much about it. And it's very understandable because games, over the years, they have gotten a lot more aggressive than what they used to be. But I think that definitely people worry way too much. But it's also part because parents aren't really probably as into it as much as the kids are, at least with current generation games. So it's probably part of they just don't understand it. And I also think that kids are a little bit more developed now at whatever age they are than their parents were when they were the same age.
So do you think kids are more desensitized to the aggressive nature of all these new video games as opposed to what the parents see?
Yeah, definitely. Because we see it all the time, like in TV shows, like kids' TV shows. There's things blowing up, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on TV. They're fighting all the time. They're brought into the violent kind of nature very early in life, but in a very friendly. I guess I don't know if you could call it a friendly way, but it's definitely a lot more kid friendly. There's no like blood or anything like that. But yeah, they're definitely more used to the violence at a younger age.
So it doesn't necessarily make them more aggressive towards real-life situations that they get assimilated with it when they're younger?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just... And actually, there's times that, that it may actually help them deal with a situation better because they know what the outcome of, let's say, killing someone could be, especially since there's a lot of other people that do it, and you hear about it all the time. I think that, kids are a lot more aware of what guns are capable of doing. So it's not like it's an accident either.